Hey YouTube, it's Nora. I am back, and today I want to share with you guys pretty much just an update on my health problems, especially since I was hospitalized, and pretty much catch you up on the drugs that I've tried and the drugs that I am going to be taking. If you guys haven't seen my hustle video, go check that out. It has a little more explanation as to what and why these tests were run, but pretty much in February, I went in for an MRI enterography. I'd never been diagnosed with Crohn's. I'd only been diagnosed with colitis, and we never really tested me for Crohn's, especially when I was diagnosed, besides like the Prometheus blood test. My doc went in because they saw information in my duodenum, which ended up being from Zoloft burning my whole esophagus and my mouth and throat down to my duodenum. But they just wanted to double check that that was the reason, and it just make for sure that it was the Zoloft that was causing the inflammation in my duodenum and not maybe a little bit of Crohn's disease creeping up. So I went to my local hospital. I went in for the MRI enterography. Really not a great experience. What happened was I went in and they give you Breza to drink. Since it's MRI enterography, it's not just a regular MRI. It's specifically to light up your whole colon and to look at it at the microscopic level, to look at the cells and everything, and to see much their structures and what's going on with them and if there's any differentiation in them. So I went in and I had to drink 3 bottles of this Breza stuff, which a lot of people just explain it as it tastes like a flat 7-Up. No biggie, right? It wasn't the taste of it, it was the quantity and how terrible it made me feel. It was worse than doing a clean out, and I can say that confidently. So I went in, I had to put like scrubs on and everything. And she had me drinking this Breza, and I was doing it, I was just trying to get it done. And then she put an IV in me, no problem. And then I had to wait because another patient had to go into the MRI that was more, I guess, critical. They just had to slide him in. He was another patient. He was there for an emergency that he had. So I sat in this like rocking chair thing and tried to finish the rest of my Breza. So I had a little time between when I was really supposed to have gone in and when I actually went in. So between that time, me being me and having the bladder of a 2-year-old, peed a bajillion times, and let me tell you, I'm sorry if you don't like me talking about poop, my whole channel revolves around my poop disease practically. I had pooped 3 times, and like completely like, just complete diarrhea, just poops myself. It's like, it was pretty much like doing a cleanup for a colonoscopy or having food poisoning, you know, I'm a little mix of both. And so they finally were like, nah, come on back. So I went in. For some reason I was very anxious. I don't know why. I just was anxious about it. And they put me through. It was really terrible because I really needed to pee. And they were like, no, you can't, like, you can't get up. And I was like, listen, like, if you don't get me out of this machine, like, halfway through, I was like, I'm gonna pee myself. Like, you're gonna have to clean it up, and then you're gonna have to go through this again with me, and we're gonna have to redo it all, so you need to get me out of this machine. So they pulled me out at like a specific time where they could between tests. I went pee, I came back, they did it again. By the time I finished the test, I was ready to cry because I had to pee again so badly that, like, you know, when you have to pee that badly and it physically hurts. Yeah, I was about ready to cry from that. So they got me out. I felt like crap the rest of the day. It knocked me out. They were like, don't eat high fat foods, whatever. I was fine. I ate like crackers the rest of the day, and I still was like pooping myself for a good 24 hours. So warning, if you get an MRI enterography, just clear your schedule for that day and the next day because you're gonna feel terrible either way. After the MRI enterography, they found a lesion on my liver, which pretty much, lesion is another word for like mass, tumor, accumulation of tissue. So my doctor was like, okay, well, you need to go in for a regular MRI, but specifically an MRI for your liver. Oh, also during the first MRI, they gave me a glucagon shot. Didn't hurt at all. And they also gave you dye at the same time as you're drinking the dye. And on the first MRI, they also found, besides this liver lesion, that I have a right duplex kidney. So my right kidney has 2 ureters instead of 1. They couldn't see if it joins at any part or if it both go down directly to the bladder, but that kind of explains why I feel like I have the bladder of a 2-year-old and why I pee an extra amount compared to everyone is because I have 2 ureters. I have more pee coming out of my bladder, or out of my kidneys down to my bladder than most people. And then they also found that I have ovarian cysts, which I thought was interesting because I never had a problem with my ovaries, so that was pretty cool. And I have a retroflex uterus, so my uterus is tilted towards the back, so your uterus is supposed to like, so you're looking at like the body sideways, your uterus is supposed to sit like kind of like this in your body, and mine's like tilted back, which isn't really a problem. It's just like a cool anatomical thing. And they also found free fluid in my pelvis, which could be from inflammation or mycelitis, or you could just have random free fluid during your period or something. I don't know, I just have it. Again, it's not really a problem. Because of liver lesion, they sent me in another time and they're like, it's probably just like a hormonal thing. So I was like, okay, whatever. I went in, I did the MRI. I didn't have to drink Breeza, thank the Lord. That one was much more comfortable. It was at a different place. And again, it wasn't really the people that were making it a terrible experience. Those people were very, very kind and nice, and I was joking with a lot of them. It was just the stuff I had to drink the first time. So the second one went fine. Afterwards, they found out that I have a focal nodular hyperplasia, which pretty much is an accumulation of tissue. It could be from hormones, it could be from an injury. It could be just because your body wants to make extra tissue and they don't want to call it a mass or a tumor, even though it is a mass. I have a 4.2 centimeter mass in my right posterior lobe of my liver, so pretty much like right below my right lung. It doesn't do anything. Sometimes your body reabsorbs it and it goes away. It's really not that big of a deal. That was something like cool fact I could throw out there, like, yo, I got a mass in my liver. Anyway, moving on to medications. So when I was hospitalized, they considered me for azathioprine, Humira, and Remicade. I decided to go on azathioprine instead of Remicade and Humira because those are very, very expensive. If you guys don't understand it, I'll explain it later. Azathioprine takes like 3 to 4 months to work up to, and I hospitalized the very beginning of December, like the first week. And then it started hitting me end of February. Pretty much my first clinical rolled around, and I went, and between the multiple trips up and down on the elevator, because we were getting a tour of the hospital that I was in, I felt like I was gonna tip over. Like if you had been like, hey Nora, what's up? I would have like completely just fallen over. So I also started getting the really bad nausea from the azathioprine to the point where like I started feeling sick for about 2 weeks before I finally got off the meds per recommendation from my doctor, and I was completely miserable in those 2 weeks. I didn't know if it was like flu season because flu season was happening. I didn't know if I was like getting sick from the flu or if I was getting sick from my drugs. It was definitely the drugs. And then as soon as I was taken off the drugs in 3 or 4 days, I like returned back to my normal self. So I am no longer on azathioprine because, like I said, it makes me feel like I'm gonna tip over, and like I was sleeping with trash bags because if I even like yawned too much, I would gag. If I smelled anything too bad, which I'm not that person. You can say something gory or gross to me, I can smell something gross, I'm fine. But when I was taking this drug, if I smelled something gross, if I saw something gross, if you said something gross, if I opened my mouth too much to yawn, I was gagging. So it was not something that I could safely be on and have a great quality of life, besides the fact that also if I was in the elevator with my patient, I could like tip over any second, put me at risk. It was just really bad. So now I am approved to be on Remicade for a whole year. So my insurance company, well, the next step was either Humira or Remicade. I can give patients injections, but when it comes to injecting myself, I'm just not about that life. I don't know, it freaks me out. I don't think I'd be able to do it. So I decided to choose Remicade. We weren't sure if my insurance company was going to approve it. They did. Luckily, they did for a whole year. So what happens is I have to go and Remicade, for those who don't know, it's TFN blockers. They bind to the receptors in your body that make inflammation. So pretty much by them binding to those receptors, your body can't transmit those signals saying, hey, make inflammation. And it uses TFN blockers. I think the blockers, the TNF proteins from mice DNA. So it's an infusion that's like 3 hours that contains mice DNA. A lot of people are allergic to it because of that, but you don't know if I am. We'll see, I guess. So because of me needing to be on a new med and not wanting Humira, I got put on Remicade. So like I said, I got approved for a year. My first infusion is Tuesday. What you do is you get infused, then 2 weeks later you get infused again, then 6 weeks after that you get infused, and then 8 weeks after that you get infused, and then you get infused every 8 weeks or 2 months, you could say. The first 3 ones have to be at a facility, so I have to go to an outpatient infusion center, and then the rest of them, we're hoping they can do in my dorm room with home health. They're not sure about that. We haven't really strategically figured that one out yet, but long story short, I have my Remicade infusion Thursday. It's Monday. I'm hoping it goes well. I'm hoping I'm not allergic to it, and I'm going to try and bring my vlog camera. I think I'm in a bed for this first one, so I'm hoping I can vlog it and show you guys what Remicade's all about. So thank you guys for watching my update on my health, and I'll see you guys next time.